back to the watch. Now, in this video, I want to discuss how we are able to predetermine if something is bad based on the woke elements that are released beforehand. And so far, this is, with only one exception being a very tried and true method that works.
We're not wizards. We don't have insights to the shows or movies, but we can see it as consumers already.
There are warning signs. Now, the example that we're going to be focusing on in this video to show you and demonstrate where these warning signs are is the recent Willow trailers. Now, I am actually invested in Willow as a property. I love the original film, but the trailers that are being released do not give me confidence at all. And there are warning signs that this is going to be awful, like really bad. And I want to point out to you what they are after we explain why these warning signs are the way they are and how they lead to such horrible things, okay? And so, and also there's other examples like Rings of Power, like, you know, She-Hulk and all those things, okay? And so a big warning sign is, this is huge actually, this has been a very effective one to be able to pick out, oh, this is going to be dumpster fire. They make the main or so the main marketing, you know, thing, or one of the most prominent things to be seen in the trailers or whatever, is the diversity of the show or trailer over just trying to showcase plot, action, characters, whatnot.
Yeah, if they show a big cast, lots of female, lots of color, people of color, then you know that they're not marketing you a good story. They're marketing you a good ideological slop pile. Even if this is the thing, because in reality it doesn't matter if it has a diverse, well, their view of diverse is basically no white people, okay? It doesn't matter if it has no white people, if it has a lot of white people in it. That's not what makes a show good or bad, but they unironically feel that diversity makes a show better. The way that they pushed and promoted Eternals, it was the most diverse film ever. It was so diverse, it would save lives.
Yeah, that's the quote.
These people are deluded. And so if that is their primary motive and guidance for their creative kind of approach to the show, it means it hasn't been quality. They're not focusing on quality. They're not focusing on making an entertaining show. They're focusing on ticking checkboxes and just having the right, you know, collection of colours in it, which is a massive reflection of a lack of talent, and that they have ideologues making it. And ideologues are usually hired based on ticking the right checkboxes and not their own skill and talent. And this is why so many, and I'm not saying that a progressive or diverse as they say it film can't be written well, but so far the trend is that people who are hired for their, you know, politics and agendas and views and stuff like that are not hired for their talent, and therefore the work that they make is utter dog crap. So there's a big one, and this can be seen in race-changing characters, okay, gender-swapping characters, and when we say like turning male characters into female characters a lot, those are the big ones. And we saw this like in Rings of Power. They promoted and said like it's such a huge thing. They had the actress Vidiza saying thanks to, you know, them switching the race of a dwarf or having a dwarf of color in it, is that now black people, it'll be accessible to black people, which just was the most racist, you know, view to say.
Yeah, because it's not like Lord of the Rings was the second most read book next to the Bible. It's not like that happened once.
So this is one of the biggest, you know, warning signs in the show. Sorry, in terms of woke things, and so far it has proved true except for one exception, and that's House of the Dragon. Okay? Because this is the other aspect to this, right? The reality is, these are warning signs. So when you see people complain and say they don't like what's going on based on them having a black actor playing a traditionally, you know, white character or vice versa or whatever, right? Because it does go the other way. I get as annoyed when they race swap the other way for a gender, where they make a black character and cast a white person. They did in Rings of Power too. The Southlanders should have been black or at least tanned, and they made them all white.
Pasty white.
Because the Southlanders were racist, you see.
And they know only certain coloured, people can be racist, so they had to change that as well. They're that disingenuous. Now, what I'm saying in preface to this is that the reality is, even though these are warning signs, when the show comes out, I know for ourselves, we don't like or hate the show based on the colour of skin of the people in it. The fact that Deezer was black and the discount Legos was black had no bearing on if the show was actually good or not. We judged it on its merit, and Rings of Power was the biggest dumpster fire ever. Same with all these, nearly all those other shows, barring House of Dragons being the one few exemption. They're all awfully written shows, okay? Because those are warning signs, but when it comes out, we judge it on its merits. And so when people say, oh, they just hate it because it had black characters, no. Where was our criticism? In fact, Deezer was one of the more likeable characters until the end where they ruined her as well. But but the thing is, and that's the point that I wanted to really make in this video, is that the objection to all the diversity isn't because we actually have an issue with people of color in the show at all. I have no problem with the fact that in Asian cinema and Asian martial art films and everything, all the characters are Asians. I would be really racist if I had an issue with that. Oh, interestingly, sounds really racist with people having an issue with films having more white people in it. It's the same type of racism, people. The next big warning sign, and again, it's in this exact same thing. The show will be judged on its merits, right? But the thing that gives us massive indication that, this is going to be a dumpster fire is feminist ideology, put simply, okay? Modern day feminism, you might try and be able to argue that the original feminism had, a purpose. It's a more nuanced understanding when you really go back about, who was getting drafted and who was actually pushing for certain rights and other things like that. There's more nuance in the historical thing. So even if you want to try and argue that feminism served a greater purpose historically, modern feminism is not about equality at all. Okay, and we see this in shows, and there are so many examples that we point out in Wheel of Time, in Rings of Power, and everything, where they actually don't want equality. Their version of equality is majority women. Okay, they want they want to. In fact, She-Hulk is the best example, right? Is they did all so many of the sexist stereotypes that they accuse men doing against women. But they had women doing that against men in the show. And that was empowering, girl power, feminist, everything. And it's a blanket proof that modern feminism isn't about equality and equal treatment. It's about preferential treatment to women, mistreatment to men, and giving all the power and control to women. They said it was a diverse representative writer's room when it was an all-female writer's room. Okay? It's not about equality. It's about spread. And Wheel of Time was a big one, because the way that they depicted the men in that show versus the women, the men were incompetent, cowardly losers, all right? And the women were awful, yet the people who wrote them thought these women were actually great. It's so funny where their view of a strong female character is an entitled, arrogant, catty, but that's their you go girl power thing. And so they have this moment where the Amelin seat in Wheel of Time is like, basically condemning a guy to a life of torture and pain, and that she rules the world and she's a tyrant, and it was being depicted as an empowering art women great moment.
Sounds like a great female leader. Totally want to live under that person.
Oh my goodness. And so what are some of the signs of pushing a feminist narrative that you see often in shows, guys?
Denigrating every man the woman comes across.
Yeah, I see. It's sort of in the Marvel stuff. You have TV shows and movies with Doctor Strange or Hawkeye, and then he'll have a girl sidekick that'll be somehow better or equal strength to him and talk down to him. That's something that...
And they'll usually get the heroic moment.
Yeah.
The end.
And then it ends with being like, hey, they're going to get their own spin-off now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what we really see in promotion materials in the launches, and we'll see this with Willow, female leads. Now, not a problem with female leads originally, but when you're actually replacing traditional male roles with female characters, okay, to the point where you see most of the traditional male roles being girl power, characters and stuff, that's the warning sign. It's like, oh, they have a really biased feminist narrative, and the male characters are going to be obviously belittled, and there's going to be no traditional masculine heroism in it. This is a bigger problem that people realize. Like, you need men to be masculine, okay, to be protectors and providers and stuff, and you also need women to be feminine, okay, to be nurturers and mothers. Like, these are essential things in the world, and the flip on this is where they want women to act more like men and men to act more like women, unironically, okay. It's like, girls, wear pants, be CEOs, go to the office. Guys, wear dresses, be effeminate, and all that crap. It's happening in the world, okay? There's a big push to try and switch those things, and it's leading to, well, more mental health, more depression, or so many issues, okay? And when we see this in media, guess what? It's a warning sign. So tied into that is vilifying traditional masculinity, okay? And so trying to show, I guess, men acting in a traditional masculine way, and then vilifying any scenes like that, or denigrating their role and stuff like that. It's tied in with obviously with the feminist narrative, but you also see signs like that in promotional material, and when you see that, it's like, oh, it's gonna go woke and be a dumpster fire.
Well, one thing that it isn't in Willow, I don't think. I hope not. But I feel like they will over-sexualize certain aspects of TV shows and movies. Like, there was that... Oh, what was that Amazon's TV show that they did off of the girls' baseball league?
Oh, I heard... Yeah, I just, like, had no interest. A League of Our Own.
Yeah, League of Our Own. Completely different. And they just made people lesbians, focused entirely on lustful, disgusting desires, and completely, like, belittled any of the male characters in that show.
Mm-hmm. You actually hit on the other one. So this is number 3, the third big warning sign in that you can see in promotional material and everything like that. Which, again, we actually don't care if it has these elements in the show, if it's integrated properly in the narrative, the story, or anything like that. All right, but if they are so desperate, they think having these elements is the most important part of the show to reveal in their promotional material. Again, means they aren't focusing on making a good show. They're focusing on representation, everything like that. And this is a big one, LGBTQAIP. Well, they do want to add the P, by the way. That'll be coming in the future. Representation. If it's integrated into a show or thing naturally, not a problem at all. In actual fact, House of the Dragon has a gay character in it, and him being gay is essential for really important plot points in that show. And so that's a perfect example of integrating. I wouldn't even say it's for representation. It's just, it's a gay character that is gay, but it has really important reflections in the show. And he isn't, like, he had a personality on top of him, just his sexual identity. Yeah. Where a lot of these shows, because they really want, the representation, they'll put a gay character in, and it seems like every aspect of the character revolves around their sexual identity, and they're not an actual individual
That's
character.
the personality.
Mm-hmm. Their personality is being gay, which is really belittling, I would feel, to gay people.
If you know actual people, it's part of it, but they also have other interests and things that they are as a human being.
Other personality traits.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why one of my favorite gay characters is Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Because...
Such a good gay character.
He has such personality, right, that who he is defined by who he is, and him being gay is just, it's a part of his life. He's just gay. And funnily enough, yes, his relationship actually comes in certain episodes and stuff like that, and there's interesting dynamics where one of the characters wants to get respect of, Holt's husband and things, and it's integrated perfectly well. And what I love about Holt is that he's defined by who he is, not his gender identity, just like real people. And so by having these token gay characters, it is tokenization because they're just there to be gay because of more representation, right? The other troubling aspect of this is sexual identity is actually a very mature thing. It's a thing that people will only deal with as they grow up and mature, okay? If a child is thinking about sexual identity at a young age, it's because they were taught that at a young age, and that is a huge problem, okay? Children are not sexual beings at any regard, and so introducing these concepts to them is really abusive.
to children, okay? Because if you even introduce the idea of sex to children at a young age, guess what that has a high indication of leading to? Perhaps exploration in sexual activities at a younger age. And guess what? What have we been seeing in the world on average? Sexual activity being undertaken by younger and younger people, okay? And it's a direct result of the world becoming more sexualized and having these things introduced to them at ages vastly, and this leads to teen pregnancy and just horrible types of abuses, okay? And young children being willing and being more vulnerable to going into sexual relations with older people. Yes, the P concept comes up a lot as a result. And so these are massively destructive, and to me, one of the biggest red flags for like a show or revealing someone's agenda is having LGBT themes in children's shows where it has absolutely no place in at all. And I find it really interesting that people were, because we've done a video on this when we were criticizing Disney for doing this and doing it with Lightyear, saying people purposely misrepresenting things. Oh, you have a problem with having LGBT people in children's media. No. Have a problem with LGBT themes, sexual, concepts. Gay characters, I don't have a problem that Dumbledore was gay, okay? If Dumbledore was kissing men, there's a difference between, just like I have a problem with, and by the way, there's a difference between like a peck and a passionate kiss and everything and actually having sexual activity or things that are clearly sexualized in children's media. I have a massive problem with having two straight people going at a pash kiss in kids' media as well, all right? These are the concepts that are not appropriate for children. And the other thing, and this is where people get really hung up on, right? There is a biological normative sexual expression that is essential for the human race to continue, okay? And it is the most likely one that most people will fall into. And as a result, of course, I have no problem with the standard biological norm being portrayed in children's media if it's really modest and wholesome, a simple, innocent peck on the cheek thing showing a relationship between a mother and a father. That's actually very healthy, okay? And children, they understand that. They don't need to be introduced that norm because it's a biological norm, okay? For children, it's perfectly normal that a mummy and daddy, love each other and they might have a small little kiss and that's wholesome and fine, okay? Introducing something that's outside of that standard, all right, which makes questions and can lead to other things or anything, those are concepts that exist for like when they're older and then they're actually going through the time when perhaps those feelings, attractions might manifest. That's the time, okay? Outside of that, yes, the standard biological norm should be the one and standard for children's media, and you should never, I am so against over-sexualization in children's media, like both straight and gay, and so there's all that, right? And the fact that the woke movement is trying to interject that. And it's not just LGBT things, it's sexualization themes, even like. And so when we see stuff like that in promotional things, because they think it makes it better, right? So they put the LGBT kiss in the trailers and stuff like that. And wouldn't you know, it's a warning sign. Okay, it lets us know what their priorities are, but also, especially if it's for children, what they want to instill in children as the normal, okay? Children naturally gravitate to what they are shown and depicted as being normal, because there are some people who, nurture has no impact with how they're upbringing, and it's just nature. They're born that way, they say it is, okay? But then there are a lot of people in which nurture plays a really big role. Okay, and it's the responsibility of the parents to try and nurture them into the thing that has the highest chances of happiness and fulfillment in life, but also to avoid any other potential issues down the track and stuff. So this is all related, but those are kind of the big things, aren't they? It's the racial representation, it's the gender representation, and it's the LGBT representation. And not that the actual shows can't have those things in them, okay? It's that they push them as the primary selling points of what it is. And it's so bizarre. It's like, I can't think of a show that thinks, hey, you'll like this because there's white people in it. Because that would be racist. Hey, you'll like this because it has straight people in it. Like,
can you imagine?
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. and you like this because it has men in it, and there's no women in this. It's like, but that's what they're doing in reverse, and they unironically think that that is a selling point. Okay, and so with those understandings, let's see how many. There was 3 big ones. Let's see if those 3 things are ticked off with Willow, and let's see where Willow is going.
You think you know what is real and what isn't.
So, not so bad at the moment. Like I wouldn't have my warning sign go up completely that it has a female character speaking. So,
What is light? What is dark?
what you're going to see here, it's going to be the collective kind of things that we're seeing. So, all right, we have a black character or a person of color. Okay, I don't know his nationality or whatever. Wouldn't be. It was like, all right, it's a character. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But we're gonna see how many examples and what they focus on.
Now, forget all you know.
So, my next one is like, it's more effeminate looking guy. It's like I don't see a masculine. Again, taken in isolation, I wouldn't think, but it's like, female, character speaking at first. We got person of color. We got an effeminate man, and in isolation, this wouldn't matter. But if there's going to be we're going to start to see a trend. We'll
Come with me.
That's Saoirse, by the way. So we would want to see. There's Willow. So this is a.
We're looking for the sorcerer Willow. I was told that once long ago you defeated.
It's like, okay, we have.
Oh, hello.
We have.
I recognize that one right there.
We got
woman,
3 women, 2
person of
guys,
colour.
and
The rules there.
2 of the guys are, they're a bit more diverse according to their standard, and there's not a single traditional masculine guy anywhere at the moment. Actually, no, this guy is obviously traditionally masculine, but it seems like they're avoiding a certain tone with the guys, but there's but it seems that it's like being a woman is because that ticks one of the boxes. So white women fine, but white and men, that's too far, especially white. So then if you have a white man who's traditionally masculine, that's like, and they'll probably have 1 or 2, but it's also, how the overall kind of, depictions of it. Like in Rings of Power, we had, was it Elendil or Elendil? He was a more traditional masculine guy. It's like the only one I can think of in the entire show.
In a good show, he might have actually done a good job.
Yeah.
The forces of evil.
You remind me of your mother.
So now we have an indication that this seems to be one of the most important characters, the lead characters. I flipped out on this shot in the first trailer thing because those arrows are modern arrows with plastic nocks. It's just like, it's so freaking cheap. That. Like, how cheap is that?
That is funny.
And look, when he's like, this is just plastic.
Oh, yeah.
This is freaking plastic. It looks so bad and cheap.
My dear friend.
So, that scene is like, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, the matriculations are fake. There's no matriculations at all. So it's like, they're just going for something, it could be better.
Friend, I thought I could prevent all this.
Oh.
Now, I missed something because I think...
I was told that once long ago you defeated the forces of evil.
You remind me of your mother.
My dear friend.
I thought I could prevent all this.
All right, so girl fighting.
I was wrong.
There's the effeminate guy who's looking afraid and not confident. It's like, just taking things in perspective when you look at all the examples. Already, are we seeing a trend? In isolation, none of these single things wouldn't have set off a warning sign at all. But when taken collectively, it's just building up and making it,
Dog seems like an afterthought.
My brother was abducted.
So my brother.
The world needs you again.
My brother was abducted.
I was wrong.
traditionally it's
of course.
Female
the
that needs
maiden gets
saving,
abducted
yeah.
and you got to rescue the damsel in distress. No, that's problematic because it's problematic that men rescue women when you want to try and teach and depict men rescuing women as often as you can, because in the real world that's what needs to happen. Women are more vulnerable than men, and the most equipped people to stop bad people in the world is, like, especially bad men, are strong men, okay? That's the reality. And so this is why traditional masculinity was so important, the heroic ideal, all that stuff, and why male media is often has the, like, power fantasy action hero guys, is to try and encourage men to be heroic, to step up and do the duty. But here is like, that's all, this is, to me, is the biggest warning sign for me, is like, oh, can't have the damsel in distress. The brother is going to be kidnapped. We're going to depict the brother being weak and effeminate.
My brother was abducted.
And so, see, like, he's like,
Of course.
He could fit through those bars.
he
mean,
could as
he's
well.
skinny enough.
What is this crap?
Yeah, he's.
Oh gosh.
The world needs you again.
Yeah, lots
Yep.
of focus on female.
It needs your...
The shots, thank you.
And like, in isolation again.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a big deal,
Wouldn't
but
be, and the other thing, right, is this. It doesn't really apply to Willow, right? But it does apply to the superhero genre, right? And this is another one of the warning signs where they are happy to sexualize and put eye candy on the male characters. Thor, you flick too hard, right? But they go out of their way to make the female characters look more masculine and butch and...
Or just plain.
No eye candy. That's male gaze. That's sexist, right? Just make them look plain and everything. Everyone just looks plain in this.
Magic.
seems like generic fantasy number 5.
And so, I forget this guy's name. Waldrick, is it? Or something?
I've only seen it once, Shad.
But he appears like he's in Harry Potter and stuff.
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis,
okay.
yeah. That's it. So, he's done some really iconic roles. The reality is, he's not the strongest actor, I guess. And look, maybe he could, but the lines that he has in this trailer just feel really flat and not performed well.
Follow me. We must go.
I don't know why that.
See, after you put it out,
Yeah.
immediately.
We must go. It's like, this is big epic music. We must go. You know, it's like you're just not getting the punch through there.
Well, it's clear that the writing is not their focus.
No.
Well, look at the focus here. Like,
Beyond.
and by the way,
Man.
do you see? I'm going back. Do you see them looking at each other? That these two female characters, they're either friends, but it really looks like they're like, especially in the first trailer, there's a thing with them looking really. It's like, and they're going out of the way to show this connection between these two female characters.
It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me.
And so, all right, they're wanting to present, the LGBT relationship thing. And so we have women acting all girl power. We have a diverse cast, and we have they got the feminist stuff, they got the representation, and they got each sign is very clearly here, and they're putting it front and center on the trailer. And is like, this does not... And then combined with other issues in terms of writing and delivery and quality of the sets, it's like, oh no, Willow's gonna be butchered next. Look, I know I'm celebrating Disney's downfall, but when it comes to a property that I do have, a connection with, I loved Willow. Look, I'll just have to pretend this isn't Willow, and,
We must go. Beyond the edge of our world.
We must go beyond the edge of our world. Like,
I'm sorry, Rick.
That wizard came from the moon. It's like they...
That's a good reference.
Into the unknown.
into the unknown. I'm gonna go back.
Beyond the edge of our world. Into the...
Oh yeah, there's another diverse man.
Yep. It's like,
It's all stacking up.
it's a very diverse band of plucky adventurers. And, again, it's just the fact that they're, like, it seems they're going out of the way to, like, make this very clear. In isolation, wouldn't care. D&D usually has the most diverse range of, like, you know, party adventurers around.
Sorry, is that supposed to be a sword or is that a stick? I can't tell.
This is like, that's a big, yeah, you see it in other shots. It's like got a big fat heavy blade and then a really long handle. And this looks like that is Sorcer's sword. And so this is Sorcer's daughter, and her brother is kidnapped, which is Sorcer and Man Mordigan's children, by the sound of it.
Right.
The unknown.
Into the unknown. It's one of the but
I need your help.
So
Into the unknown.
That's a way that you.
it's supposed to be fantasy. This person looks like some druggo that you find down the street that's just finished shooting up. It's like, what is this crap?
Looks like a metal T-shirt from
I
here.
know. Like, what the hell?
What are you doing?
Did they just accidentally leave some random person in shot while they're filming this?
I mean, she looks like she doesn't know where she is.
Gosh.
I need your help.
And then it's like, I don't know, some, yeah.
Is that guy communicating with a leaf?
It's like she's a zip up one piece. They're like, what is?
And he's wearing a onesie.
It looks like what? It's a metal shirt. What is this?
What is going on?
Oh.
Running. Horses. Mayhem. Mayhem. Happy to see you.
Comedy. That's another good indication. Yeah, that is. Look at that. Comedy.
That's the comedy. He's like overacting. You know, I remember, and they got the same actor. Like that before, it was like he falls into a mug and is like, "Bia!" And he jumps back. And I was like, that actually could work. Where this is just like, "Bam!" Like,
That sounds like someone I'd like to hang out with.
Our true enemy is still out there. Rallying the forces
and some of these shots actually don't look terrible,
of evil.
but it's all this, you know.
And the only thing standing in its path.
It looks expensive.
I don't know. Those arrows. Like, look at this axe. It looks like it's rubber.
All right, I rescind that.
Like, look, and you can see its blunt edge there. What is this crap?
I used to remember a time when I wanted more fantasies. I take it back. I don't want any more.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Oh, another one.
Another strong female character. Though this guy's lines, all right, at least they're giving him a bit of some masculine kind of is it sass? But some.
Thinking what I'm thinking, so am I.
I doubt that very much. Take him to my tent and make sure he's tied up.
I don't know. See, that kind of sounds like we're on the same page.
It's like, all right,
That's fine.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. So, interesting. Of course, like shock horror, that guys usually get more interested in, I guess, stereotypically masculine, cool characters. That guy is the coolest, most masculine character. Is the one I think so far has the most potential. The girls just act around trying to be important by the sound of it. Like, you must help us. Can't you imagine there was nothing interesting in them, but they're all like posing and trying to be really tough. Where the guy, he actually looked like he had some personality.
Okay.
I'm so important. Look at me.
That's how I will feel watching this show.
Oh.
When I was a kid, I used to play at being a sorcerer.
Oh, look, it's Ray Swap Flash.
Yeah. It's the guy that played Flash in the Spider-Man movies, and it's like, we have one masculine-looking guy, and all the other ones just look like he's pathetic, kind of.
Sorcerer, visiting strange worlds, fighting monsters.
Yep, you see these two,
Main characters, yeah.
Sure.
and they're always together, and they have that that really close-looking
Monsters. Never thought I'd actually really do it.
What the hell is that?
He's a magician. See that big chunky sword? That's like that is a. I got things to say about the sword.
You look kind of cool.
Yeah, there are the odd things like that. Looks, the troll.
I'm so miffed.
That line wasn't good. Let's hear that line again.
Trolls. I'm so miffed.
It sounded cut together. It wasn't one straight line.
So when are we holding a funeral for writing?
Yeah.
Oh, look, actual horses.
2-finger Mediterranean draw with the arrow on the outside. You know, it's like, all right.
That'll always impress Shad.
Yeah. I'm get good. That's the representation I want to see. Proper representation of historical techniques. Though, what do you see? Do you see this? Ready? So he's shooting the arrow. The arrow leaves. Where's the string?
It's still there.
So it's a fake arrow.
Oh.
You didn't want to time it to like the string going in it. The next frame has it, but still, it's like, is there? And now it's like, what's shooting the arrow?
You know, Shad, when you let go, the arrow just flies off. The string doesn't do anything.
The arrow has a mind of its own.
Anyway, I noticed that going through.
We have to hurry.
And
Oh, yeah. Female character in the center as usual.
yeah, I mean,
Not
it seems like the most competent warrior should be the big, strong guy.
Yeah, so. I mean, he looks like he can destroy things.
Is put to the side.
Of
you know,
course.
who's front and center. This wouldn't be an issue in isolation, but it's the collective, you know, things that you see. It is like, if people are wondering, oh, does that mean it gives a good indication that it's very likely to be an absolute piece of crap as a result. Does that mean we're going to go and... No, if it's good, we'll judge it on its merits, all right? But at the moment, Willow looks friggin' awful, especially because it has Disney... we know they're doubling down. They haven't let anything... And so it has all the same crap in it. Has to have the right tick boxes, right representations. You can't have a man rescue a woman anymore. And so it has to be the woman rescuing the men. When... for the vast majority of reality, no, the men do need to rescue the women, okay? Because there are a lot of damsels in distress, even in the real world, and men do need to step up and be the protectors, okay?
Nah, I just want to send, if I have daughters, I want to send them out to the battlefield. I don't want to go. That's what I've learned from Disney.
That's what Disney teaches. And by the way,
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
I try to teach my daughter martial arts, get her into jiu-jitsu and stuff. I want my daughter to be able to have at least some ability to protect herself, but the reality is she's already short and she's not going to grow up to be nearly as tall or heavy as a man. And so I want her to be as capable of defending herself, but the reality is even my daughter, against more imposing opponents, she's going to need someone to help her out. I'm here to protect her, and I damn well... her husband better, you know. And that's the role of the father as well, to ensure. Anyway.
Yeah, it should be, but they've got everything backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could totally believe this woman could absolutely do more damage.
The big strong guy, where is he? He's in the background again. He's the most likable character from the trailers that we've seen. He would clearly be the best warrior. He's the tallest. Would be the strongest. They get they won't make him the best warrior. It'll be the girls will be the better warriors.
She's like half his size, and she's the first.
And I have no problem with girls being better warriors than guys if it's justified properly, like if they have magical strength or superpowers or anything like that. Wonder Woman should be able to kick guys' butts, and stuff like that. But if it's just saying regular training, regular humans, no, just the actors, that guy would just arm wrestle. Yeah. Not a chance that she would even be able to put up barely a fight at all against someone who has that height and weight advantage over him. Because people, a lot of people don't know, the way you generate power in say punches and strikes is not. You think muscle strength, weight has a massive amount to do it. That's why boxing, they're divided by weight category, not strength curling capacity. Okay, weight determines power generation in a big way, especially, and so bigger, taller people. But then if you add in that, men have tighter, there's certain muscle fibers, twitch muscles or something like that, but greater bone density and everything like that, then their muscle mass is just also denser and stronger. And you add all those together, okay, women do have an uphill battle in the combative arena. Force multipliers help. I've got all these things on, but anyway.
Same as last time.
That was a memory shot of Saoirse and I forget, she's a wizard.
again,
Forget what you knew, Shad. This is the new cast.
big strong guy. It's like again and again and again. How many times have we seen the characters present themselves? Thing, and who is always at the center? This isn't by accident, okay?
With my friends.
And you'd think Willow would be at the center, by the way, but this is supposed to be called Willow, yet which character have we seen front and center presented as the main character throughout all of this?
I'm getting massive Kenobi vibes.
Just another thing that they will bastardize and desecrate on the altar of woke progressiveness because... look, don't watch it, guys. It's going to be crap. You see all the warning signs there. Don't let it ruin Willow. But don't... And by the way, like, we're only watching it to review it. If we weren't reviewing it, I wouldn't watch it at all. And if you're thinking that, no, this isn't promoting it, okay... If it is good, though, it deserves to be acknowledged as good. And if it is good, that's what we need to find out. But the thing is, though, even by us watching it, we'll be able to point out all the things that are bad with it, if it is bad, and that will let people know to avoid it. We have, let people be aware of the flaws of Rings of Power and avoid that dumpster fire vastly more than the single watch it required for us to review it, okay? We have not provided Amazon with more views at all, by any means. In actual fact, a lot of people say, thanks for letting me know and watching it so I don't have to, okay? Same case with I here. But look at that. 3 main, indicators. They're all there, but then combine it with awful writing, low-budget things and stuff. This is how we know things are going to be bad before it comes out, okay? What we saw here, there's indicators in the trailer, is the person, they're squatting, they're pushing out, they're doing this, and there's a plate underneath them, and we're asking, why are you crapping on my plate? And so the whole line's like, how do you know it's going to be crap? It's not even out yet. There's certain indications, and this is what they are. I wanted to just... to have a video and then not only share the things, give an example in real time of where you can see it.
And yeah, that's it. So as always, stay on watch.